Hi guys, and welcome to part 8 of our Wall-E Blender tutorial. So by the end of part 7 you should have the body, the neck and the basic shape of the eyes done here. What I'm going to do now is continue working on the details at the rear of the eyes. So this part can be a little bit complex. It's this area here. First of all, I want to drag our fins out that are attaching onto there, because as you can see in our model they don't quite join up. So we'll just select that and we go over it into edit mode, and we're going to want to select the face. So face select, we'll drag this face out, and the same down here. And then also over on this side. Okay, now we've done that, I'm going to work on this area here and this curved part that goes at the back. So we'll start off with creating the flat top part in the box that goes behind it. We've also got a slight recess there at the back, which we're going to add in as well. So go back over into object mode, we select our object, over here into edit mode, make sure we selected all those edges, E to extrude, S to scale, scale in a little bit, E again, and S to scale. Okay, now we've done that, let's create this top part there. So that's going to be basically a cube that we're going to create and then place there. So come back out into object mode, create a cube. Go into our right side view, scale it to the approximate dimensions. Now I want to scale it in the Z-axis. This is quite thin. Something like that, and then we'll go to our back view. I want to scale it in the X-axis, like so. We're going to rotate it on the Y-axis, and then we can position it, rotate a little bit more, and scale. Okay. Make it a little bit narrower, scale again on the X-axis, and we'll make it a little bit longer. Okay. Now you see it's got curved edge there and flat edge on the other side, so we're going to curve that edge first of all. So back over into edit mode, select this face, Control B to bevel, and increase the number of segments. What I want to do is grab just the top edge and the bottom edge and Control B. Now we'll bevel like that. Okay. Gives it just a slightly tapered end. And then I'll select the face. Control B to bevel this. Just a little bit. I'll just leave that as it is. Okay. Now we've got another box that goes behind it, which is supported on top of these half circles there. So I'll create this part next. So again, in object mode, we'll create a cube. Go into our right view, scale this down, get it approximately into position. Needs to be narrow, less tall. Go to our back view, position it, rotate it on the y-axis. Scale it also on y, it's a little bit wide. Okay, and a bit also on the X. Now with the net, I'm going to curve those top edges. We'll also add in this detail here, and then we'll put the curved part underneath, which is supporting it. So first of all, back over into edit mode, edge select. I'm going to select this edge and this edge. Control B to bevel. Bevel those so it gets curved. I'm also going to put a small bevel on two bottom edges. That's just going to be a smaller one, like that. Now in our tools, I'm going to get my loop cuts, and we'll place one here and another here. We'll grab that face that's been created by those loop cuts and we'll extrude it inwards a little, and then you'll see that after extruding it leaves this face here, which we can then delete. Same on the other side there. Once that face has been deleted, we also then need to delete the remaining face. And then we can reselect these edges. Select edge loops, and then we'll go to make face. Same on the opposite side. Edges. We'll select our edge loops and then make the face. Okay. And take a look at our reference image again. We have a short, a thin recess running along there, which we'll add in. So we'll do that by getting our knife tool. First we'll go into vertex mode and we'll draw a line between these two vertexes. Then we'll get our loop cuts again. Oh no, we'll just use the knife. And control from the midpoint. Draw that line parallel. And then we can grab that face. We can extrude it inwards. Just a little bit. And then we have to do the same as what we did before. Delete these faces that are left. I'm going to leave that face though in place. Back into object mode, and there we have the back part, and then that is supported on top of these two semicircular arcs, which is the next part to create. So we're going to create that with a NURBS curve. So we're going to first of all go into our right side view, NURBS curve, which we'll create there, rotated on the y-axis 90 degrees. In the settings for our NURBS curve, we want to find motion paths, no, custom properties. Go into our edit mode, and we can begin to edit the shape. So we're going to want it curving from the edge and coming up, something like this. Now if we scale the whole thing down, and we can drag it into our correct position. Like so. I'll go to the back view. This wants to be at the end, so we'll place that there. Okay, so now we've got this, we can Alt-C, transfer or convert to a mesh. Now in edit mode we can select this edge. We can extrude the whole thing out along the x-axis. take a look at our reference image. Okay, now we want to add some thickness to this. So I think we can use a modifier solidify, and that will allow us to add some thickness to this object and make it solid. So if we increase the thickness there, you can see the object is getting thicker and thinner. So that solidify modifier allows us to create kind of a solid object out of what was previously just a flat piece. So we can give it some depth, like you can see here. Okay, now once we've done that, we'll go back over into edit mode. Now you can see we can only actually edit these faces here until that modifier has been applied, and then it becomes one mesh. So if we go to apply and then go back into edit mode, you'll see now we have all those faces available for selection. To select all those faces, I'm going to make that a little bit, deselect that and make this a little bit thinner. Something else selected here. So select our edge loops, deselect this, deselect, and the same at the front here. Okay, now I can make that a little bit thinner. Let's check our reference image. A little bit thicker again. Okay, now I'm happy with that. Come back across into object mode. Now I'll position it again where we desire it to be. So around this position. Then it needs to be rotated so that it matches the angle of our other block there which it's supporting. So come to our back view again. We're going to rotate this on the y-axis. Once that's been rotated, we'll position it again where we desire it to be. Okay. Now we can copy and paste this piece. So Control C, Control V, and we'll position it where we desire at the other end there. Now we can actually, in object mode, select all these pieces, and it can actually all be joined up. So we can go to Object and Join, makes it all one piece. Now if we select this object and this, and again Object and Join, now everything is mirrored over also on our left side. Now I'm going to add in this connection here where the hose is going to go to. We also have one lower down there, so we'll do the one first of all which is on the neck, and then we'll do the one which is on the head. So again, in object mode, we're going to create a cylinder, scale that down, go to my right view and drag it back. Okay, and the back view. Just check a reference image. So basically it's in the middle of this here is where it's going to be situated. Now I'll rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees, a bit more scaling. Okay, and then we're also going to scale on the y-axis, drag it back into position. Okay. Need to scale a little bit bigger. Then we'll go over into edit mode. I want to select this edge loop. E to extrude, S to scale, and E to extrude again. This time we'll extrude inwards. And I want to add a little bit of beveling to this edge. So select edge loops, Control B to bevel. And the same on this edge. Select edge loops and Control B, bevel that edge as well. Now there's going to be a right angle hose coming out of there, like a connector, which then comes to the hose, which will connect up down here. Now, we'll create the hose in the next tutorial and also that connector. All I want to do for now is just create basically the outlets where these are going to be. So there's our first one done. Come back over into object mode. I'm going to scale it up just a little bit. And then we'll select these two objects and join again. And again, because our mirror modifier, whatever we've done on the right side, is now copied over onto our left. And down here we're going to want to create a similar type of connector. It's a smaller one now, and it's going to be more like a cap which kind of screws on. So let's create that, and then that'll be the end of this particular tutorial. So again, we're going to create a cylinder. We'll scale it down. Get it into our approximate position. I'm going to have these connect here and here. I think so. There'll be one there. And one on the other side, but we'll mirror it in a moment. Just going to hide that object for now while we create this, so it doesn't interfere with our view. I'm going to rotate this x-axis 90 degrees. Go to our back view. Position this. Left view. There we go. Now we'll scale on the y-axis. Okay, now we'll come over into edit mode. We'll select this face. Going to extrude and scale. Extrude and scale again. And then we're going to select this edge here. Select the edge loops. Control B to bevel. Give it a curved connection there. Okay. Back into object mode, we'll unhide our head there. So when we put our right angle connector on, the hose is going to come out and it's going to go to this part here. So position this, view at the back, copy and paste, position it the opposite side. Now select all these objects and join. So there's our connector now for the hose, which is going to connect to the rear of Wally there. Now there's a larger circle you can see coming around that connector, and also a horizontal piece joining those two there. So we'll add in those small details yourself. I'm sure that now, after following along with these tutorials, if you've been following from the beginning, you should have a pretty good idea how we're creating these parts now and becoming familiar with all of the tools and controls which you have here in Blender. So I'll leave you to add in just very small details yourself. You can download the latest project file at the bottom of this video. So this is tutorial number 8. And the other part that you may want to also do some detail on is at the front of the eyes. There's these 3 rivets or screws which hold everything into place. So I'll let you also create those yourself. And I'll see you in the next part of the tutorial, where we will make the cables which are at the rear of the Wally head there. These cables, electrical or hydraulics, whatever they are. And then we'll move on to these details at the back of the body before we start with this quite complex area of the hands and the wheels. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time.